Hi, ladies. Welcome to this conversation today with myself and with Sammy Morell from Mother's Hood. We really want to hold space for you today to honour you and your feelings, and to really start to talk about anxieties, maybe, or thoughts and feelings that might be coming up in the run up to this festive period following loss. So in today's session, it's going to be a 20 minutes, looking at my clock, session. There'll be space within it to pause and reflect. And then we'll finish with some breathing exercises too. At any point throughout the session, if it feels like it's really anxiety provoking and it's sending you into a sense of overwhelm, please know that you can press pause and come back to this conversation whenever you want to. You can contact Sammy and I if you want to reach out for some support. Or maybe thinking about listening to this video at a certain time of day, so not too late at night if it's going to affect your sleep, and maybe even being able to watch it with someone or reflect with somebody, a loved one or a friend, that might be able to offer you support afterwards. I think that's all I wanted to say on that. So, ladies, Sammy is going to start the conversation around this today. Please do have a journal ready. Press pause and grab yourself your journal pen, because we are going to have some time to sit and reflect. Sammy.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I just wanted to say a warm welcome and hello from me. And I just want to say that I see you and I hear you, and I'm so sorry for your loss. I understand some of those feelings and experiences that you've been through. Obviously, I haven't experienced all of it, but I have experienced two losses myself. And my second loss was in January this year, and I've been thinking about the festive season coming up, and I think the festive season, along with other dates and anniversaries of our losses, and even our birthdays or things like that, different events can trigger a range of emotions, and I think also this year with kind of Christmas not really happening as normal last year, I feel like there's almost more pressure on this year to kind of make it this amazing best Christmas ever, and people having that excitement around us, and sometimes we might not feel that, or we might have, we can hold the two. We can be excited and looking forward to it, but also we can be apprehensive about what's coming up, because we won't have our babies with us that are no longer here. And I should, this Christmas I should have a 5-month-old baby, as well as my 3-year-old. For those of you that know my story, we lost Rose in January, and taking stock to think about and reflect on what could have been. I do it all the time in a way, but I think this festive season is particularly evokes a lot there. So Kelly and I just wanted to acknowledge those feelings that might come up, and give you some space and time to reflect and think about what might come up and what you can perhaps put in place, just to kind of prepare yourself a little bit. We obviously can't always prepare ourselves for triggers and things that people might say, but I find this helpful because I can prepare and maybe think of ways I want to honour Rose, or think about those family gatherings and those conversations, or even with friends, and also think about the things that might come up that might be stoking the fire of some of those feelings, where we can kind of reduce that a little bit, and take that pressure off ourselves, and just give ourselves compassion to let those feelings come, and know that there's support in here, through Fly Mama on with Kelly's breathing techniques, or some yoga, or some meditations, and journaling, and there's lots there that Kelly is providing. So we're going to talk about a few things here. And I'm going to start with something I think is really important, and then kind of going back to that, making it the best Christmas ever. And we hear it a lot on TV, and it actually makes me very annoyed anyway. As mums, we we have there's a lot of pressure and expectation on us anyway. I think we put it on ourselves, and I know I do it as well from our conditioning, but I think society puts it on us as well. And it's about this kind of expectations of what mums do and expected to do over the Christmas period, thinking about everybody else all the time, make sure, buying presents for our immediate family and kind of extended family, our in-laws. Might be cooking, or you might be organising all these outings, and there's just that expectation and pressure, isn't it? More. And it's okay to not want to buy into that, or buy into it at different levels, take it at your own pace, but also know where those expectations are coming from of, the perfect mother myth, which we know is unachievable and unobtainable. But we all, if we have that those standards, we're always trying to achieve them, but we can't. So I want to reference it in terms of loss, because it's something that came up a lot for me when Rose died. I felt that nothing I did was enough to honor her and remember her, and that brought up a lot of anxiety for me, because I felt like whatever I did was never going to be enough to kind of do it enough for her. So just something to think about there, and how that might come up for you. And you might want to journal on this point of how the perfect mother might show up for you in both ways in your life, and with regards to loss. And then once it's written down, you can sometimes see, I'm putting this pressure on myself, and actually how I'm not trying to minimize that, because I know that the perfect mother can induce a lot of anxiety, and that mum guilt that's something that we feel is pervasive, but we have to accept it, and actually quietening that down, putting it to one side, and really listening to what you want to do. How do I want to feel this holiday season? How do I want to spend my time? I don't want to feel exhausted and depleted. I matter too. I want to enjoy this time. I want to make space for remembering my lost baby or babies on my own. And I also want to make space and have, you might want to call them rituals, or time space to honour them with my family. And that isn't selfish. That isn't selfish to have your own needs and wants. So I just wanted to put that in there first, and that will give us a segue into kind of then thinking about how you might want to honour your baby in particular ways. Or
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what came to mind then when you were saying that? Perfect mother myth with how we honour, children that we've lost. And also, if you're mothering other children, that perfect mother myth to do everything right for them whilst you're processing your grief and managing your own emotions and needs. That's another layer, isn't it? If you are mothering on top of experiencing loss, so giving yourself, like you said there, permission to do it in a different way, and to know you're doing your best, to honour the child that you've lost, and also to mother the child that you have here living. And I just thought I'd drop that in as well, because I know that that's something that when our energy is low, when we're anxious, when we're feeling everything that grief brings, then if we're trying to, maybe keep our emotions from, not wanting to affect everyone, not wanting to appear as, wanting to just make the Christmas as best as you can for other people, which is nothing wrong with that, but also just checking in, how much is it taking from me, and yeah, like you say, thinking about yourself. Just wanted to add that, babe. Yeah,
that's so true. And I think that's, if you have living children as as well as experience loss, that kind of bridge between the two, I think, sort of typically and traditionally the way that perhaps we were raised, and I think previous generations, is to kind of hide that emotion, push it away, and don't be upset because if, oh, we don't, you know, be happy because this is a happy time of year, and feeling like you're ruining it for other people because you're upset or not feeling like you're wanting to celebrate. And, you know, actually, the way that I am with Luna, we've always talked about Rose from the very beginning, you know, and mothering Rose and Luna at the same time by bringing them together. So bringing Luna into how are we going to honour Rose and talk about Rose and the things that we can do together. And actually, I find that's a nice way to combine the two. Now Luna's at an age, she was 3 in August, so she started Christmas. This is kind of her first Christmas. I feel really that she kind of understands a lot more about what's going on, and how we can bridge that gap together. So you don't necessarily have to be doing these things on your own or with your partner, bringing your other children into, or even extended family members to, you know, and say, you know, and I also, that kind of brings me on to maybe thinking about those interactions with people and the way that people interact with you. Some people might say insensitive things, some people might ignore it altogether. And I think sometimes if you're able to, perhaps maybe messaging people before and saying, I would like to, you know, I would like to talk about, in this instance, Rose, or please don't feel like you can't say her name, ask me about her, it's really important to me, or we are doing this to honour Rose, you know, whatever particular things, we would like you to join us in that, or at that time we can't do that, because I feel like, you know, sometimes we have to bring the people along the journey with us, and kind of, and it's not our job to educate them or kind of make them feel more comfortable, but it's, grief is a complex and multifaceted, and again, I think we shy away from it because we don't want to upset people by asking them about their loss, but we're grieving in a way, we're upset anyway, people talking to us about it. That's me. Some people may feel the same. Other people may want to say, I can't see you because I find it too painful to see other people at the moment, and I want to have that time for myself. So just thinking about what works for you. And people will often say insensitive comments, asking about whether you're going to have it, you know, maybe trying again, or some people might not know about your loss. I feel like almost being prepared can help you in this situation rather than being off the back foot. There's always going to be things that we're not going to be prepared for, but for me, that's helpful.
Absolutely, Sammy. And you know, as you're just saying this now, it's made me realise that, yeah, I'm going to be seeing my family for the first time since my miscarriage. And we spoke just before this, didn't we, about the fact that people haven't massively acknowledged it for me. So I'm going to be reflecting definitely on what is okay for me, what interactions feel okay, the length of time that I spend at social gatherings, things that I might say. And just like you say, it's I guess it's asking ourselves, what do I need, what am I okay with, what conversations do I want to engage in, or like you say, inviting people to ask you and say your child's name, or just acknowledge what you went through. And I mentioned earlier, like 2 little islands, like there's you and there's a person, and it's giving them that little bridge to come across and communicate with you, or not. If you're not ready and you don't want to, that is okay too. You know, that might feel too much to do that, and just completely, I think woven throughout this whole conversation is to honor yourself where you're at. You might watch this video next year and you're ready to, or it feels good for you to do things, and this year it doesn't, and that is okay. You know, what are my needs, not what should I do, what is everyone else doing, but just honoring. Just to say that.
And that's I that's such a good point, because one, I know that some women find it when people say to them, how many children do you have, and you know, you might be at gatherings where people are, you know, Christmas is obviously time for more gatherings, and how many children do you have, and they feel guilty if they don't acknowledge the babies that aren't living. That doesn't mean you're a bad mother if you don't acknowledge them and don't want to have that conversation. You don't have to give your vulnerability away to other people. You don't have to have those conversations if you don't want them. You don't have to provide details if you don't want to. You might feel differently with different people, and it's somebody might ask you about your loss, be very open about it, but you might not be feeling ready to share at that point, or ready, I don't want to talk to this person about my loss because I don't feel safe with them, or so it's just very, it is very nuanced. And I just want to, I think sometimes as women we need permission, which is a, that's a whole other topic, but giving you permission to do what is right for you. Only you know what's right for you in each and every moment, and with different people. So, you know, nobody else has a right to know any details. But equally, if you want to share, then yeah, then you know, then you should. Um,
And as you're listening to this as well, you might feel a certain way, but then in later on tonight, you might feel different. Tomorrow, right up until, you know, a week before Christmas, you might have changed your mind with what's okay, and that's okay as well to change your mind.
mhm,
You
yeah,
know, in this moment, you might be feeling that, yeah, I want to connect, I want to honor in this way, I want to be all, do all these things, and then just acknowledging near the time that, yeah, it's okay to change your mind. Mm.
definitely. I think we're going to go on to allowing you some time to journal it in a second. So some of those things that we've talked about, what might come up for you, you might want to reflect on that, who you might be seeing, and kind of thinking about how those people might make you feel, and having discussions perhaps with a partner or a family member if you're feeling uncomfortable about seeing certain people, and what you can put in place um, when you're visiting people or having people around, and you know it's very busy and you want to take some time for yourself. Kelly, I know Kelly's going to do some breathing exercises, and a breathing exercise in a minute, which you can go and do on your own, even if you go, you know, you can't always escape, you know, these, escape might be the right word, but you might not be able to leave these gatherings, but you can go and take some time to collect yourself in the toilet, pop outside, fresh air,
Mm.
to
Mm.
think about putting some things in place, just thinking about in advance, and how much time you want to be at these events. You know, an hour's enough for me.
Mm.
um Kelly and I was talking about this before, you know, and that was something that she brought up, in that, you know, having those time slots might be good, and then actually if you're feeling okay, you can go beyond that, but also communicating with your partner or whoever you're going with that I might not be able to handle a lot. So just thinking about ahead about what events are coming up, how much you might be able to handle or not handle. And I also just wanted to pop in here, just you might want to think about some ways that you want to honour or think about your baby, that's right for you. And just a couple of things that we're doing. I've bought Luna and Rose a matching bauble each, and I always buy Luna a bauble every year for Christmas. So bringing Rose into that tradition. And I'm going to buy Rose a stocking. I've got one for Luna and I'm getting her a stocking, so they can, you know, Rose will have one every year and it goes up with Luna's stocking. And as Luna gets older, she you know, may want to put things, you know, we might put things in there for her. And I think on Christmas Day I'm going to ask my family if we can just spend, you know, raise a toast to Rose and just spend a couple of minutes, you know, talking about her. So just a few things there that might not be right for you or your family, but it's been nice for me to think about how I want to make sure that she's always part of our family and part of those traditions.
Mm. That is so beautiful, Sammy. That is so lovely, babe. Nice suggestion, really lovely suggestions that you might want to do yourself, and if not, then that's okay too. This might be a nice time to put some music on, and just let whatever has come up for you land, and journal. You know, how you're feeling about Christmas. Like Sammy said, what boundaries do you want to put in place? How can you support yourself? How might you want to honour your baby if that feels all right? So I'm gonna, if we both go on mute, Sam, I'll put some music on, and we'll just give everyone a few minutes to start to think about that. Ladies, that was 2.5 minutes, which is not a long time, but I'm aware of keeping this video in a bite-sized kind of capacity. So I just wanted to say, please do pause this video now if you'd like to carry on reflecting. You might have just scratched the surface and you're enjoying, it's quite cathartic to think about. So please do pause the video now. And know that we've just got 5 more minutes after this where we reflect, and then I'm going to share some breathing exercises with you that might feel nice to do generally after you've thought about all of this, and that you might be able to use in the lead up to Christmas and on the day as well. So please do press pause now. Cough on mute. Do you know what, Sammy? This has been really helpful for me, actually, ladies. Ways in which I can manage some anxieties that I realise I've got now, give myself permission to spend limited time at family gatherings, find a quiet room, go outside, go in the bathroom and do my breathing, or just do it where I am. Arrive later to things. So I'm not arriving early and leaving early, and everyone's like, "Oh, you going?" Leaving, and actually give myself permission to leave whenever I want. Yeah, and buying a Christmas bauble, that feels great for me. So I just thought I'd reflect those two things. That thank you so much for bringing this topic to us today, Sam. And the one thing I am going to reflect a lot on is whether, with my husband, is how we want people to acknowledge hope as well in Christmas cards or in conversation. Or yeah, thank you for that today, Sammy.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Oh, it's been lovely to be here, and just yeah, if any of this can help anybody, then you know, then I'm glad of that, because it's not an easy one to navigate, and these are conversations that we just don't have, do we? And so we're, you know, this is all uncharted water that we can hopefully help each other.
Absolutely. So, ladies, I just wanted to end with a few ways, a few things that might feel good, just for us to even do now. So, just to honour the fact that we've sat here today and reflected on this, it might have brought up a change in our nervous system, in our bodies. We might feel that the breath has changed, our body temperature, our heart rate, our nervous system has been activated by this conversation. I will just say I've got a video on the window of tolerance. I'll signpost you to that, where I talk about our window of tolerance, so our ability to handle heightened states of arousal and stress and then drop back down. So I'm going to encourage you to go and watch that one, because it might help you to think about when you're in situations and you're coming out of your window of tolerance, of feeling calm and able to connect and okay with the situation, not too overwhelmed, and bringing yourself back into it, or bringing yourself up from a state of disconnection. So I will just say that. But now I'd love you to join me in this lovely grounding exercise. So I'm going to ask you to bring your right hand underneath your left armpit, and you're actually placing your hand by your heart by doing that. And then take your left hand and just place it on your right arm, and you can even do a little gentle stroke here, or anything that feels good. You might even pat, and just close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in through your nose and all the way out through your mouth. And I encourage you to do 10 of these, but keep going whenever you need to do this. So just keep your eyes closed, keep doing this lovely breath work. If you feel like you can't get enough air in through your nose and you need to breathe in through your mouth, please do that. If we're feeling quite anxious, nasal breathing feels too restrictive, so breathe in and out through your mouth if that's the case. And this is a lovely one, because by holding ourselves, we are signaling to the body that we are here now and we are in our bodies. We can literally touch our arms, we can touch our bodies, we can feel the connection of our feet on the floor. It's giving us a sense of safety. It's literally telling our bodies and our nervous systems that we are safe, that it's okay, that wherever you're feeling, it's okay, that I'm here for you. We're providing ourselves with that comfort and support. So if you need this whenever, but especially if we're thinking about in the lead up to Christmas or at any events, this is a lovely one to just go to the bathroom or go outside, or just sit wherever you are and do this. Turn and face away from the room, as if you're looking at a picture, or, whatever you need to do, any little pocket of breathing space that you can create for yourself in those moments. And focus on your breath. And once we've brought our nervous system back down, we can bring the logical part of the brain back online, and then we can make decisions. Okay, it's time for me to leave, or whatever else we might need to do in that situation. So this is my go-to breathing exercise, really. And then just relaxing there. And then just bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand on your belly, if that feels okay. If bringing your hand to your belly does not feel okay, if it's triggering in any way or you feel uncomfortable, just bring your right hand on top of your left. And again, you can just close your eyes. And this is something, again, you can do wherever. I'm going to finish the session off today here. So by bringing your left hand to your heart and the right hand on top, or right hand onto belly, you're connecting with your breath. So if your hand is on your belly, you're feeling the rise and fall of your belly. And you're also feeling your heart beating. Again, it's that touch, it's that connection of bringing us into the moment and offering ourselves support, literally physical support, but also that sense of knowing that we are honoured in our feelings, that we are here, that we are supported. So just take a few deep breaths now, ladies. Either in through the nose and out through the mouth, or in and out through your mouth. And just know that all of your feelings are valid, that you can welcome and allow any of them to show up, that you can support yourself as you feel them, or give yourself permission to feel them when you're ready. And just to honor yourself today for listening to this, for reflecting on your own needs. And please just trust that you are enough. Everything you're doing is enough. And please know that you're not alone. Take another deep breath in here and all the way out. Allow your eyes to float open. Thank you so much for joining us today, ladies. Please do contact us. Let us know in the comments if there's anything that's come up or how this has felt today. Watch this again if you need to. Tap into some of the breathing exercises, the window of tolerance video, and just honoring yourself even after this conversation now for the rest of your day or as long as you need to at this time. Thank you so much, Sammy, for being here and bringing this conversation to us today, honey. I really, really appreciate you.
Thank you.
And from me, just thank you so much, ladies. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, ladies.